Welcome to Mikes and Mayhem with Jenna and Maddie Morrow.
I'm Maddie.
I'm Maddie.
No, I'm Maddie.
No, I'm Jenna.
No, I'm Squidward.
I'm Squidward. He's Squidward. Who else is Squidward?
And that's the episode.
Goodbye. Thanks for watching.
Well, actually, I am Jenna.
And I am Squidward. I mean, I am Maddie.
And we have mics, and as always, we are here to bring you mayhem.
Yes, as always. And on behalf of Pride Month, this episode is going to be dedicated to talking about a BL manga that Jenna and I just finished reading. It's actually a fairly new one. It's the first story put out by this particular manga writer, which is really awesome. And we will also be providing manga recommendations that we think you should be reading for Pride Month and beyond.
Shout out to the gays.
The gays.
Yeah, this is fun because, I think between the two of us we don't have like an overwhelming library of queer manga recommendations, but we have enough that are very good starting points too. I think, if people just want to get into reading something that's, in the LGBTQ genre, I think we got you covered here today, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We won't overwhelm you with too many, recommendations. So it kind of works out that our recommendations are a little on the limited side. But I think we should just jump right in to the review first of this manga that we are or have read. It's called Living with Him. I'm going to try to hold it up to the camera. Living with Him. It is a one-shot story written by, please forgive my pronunciation, I really hope that this is correct, Toworu Miyata. And the reason we know it was their first story is because they wrote a little note in the back that says it was their first story. And so as writers ourselves, we of course like jumped at the opportunity to read a first of someone's. And so it, it's a very sweet story.
Yeah, I actually went earlier today. I went online and I googled the author because I was curious to see if they had any social media presence, so we could hopefully tag them and let them know we really enjoyed their work. And it's a woman, it's she, and she has a Twitter, so super cool. We have an awesome female penned BL here. And I really enjoyed it. And not just because, of course, you have the really cute, like you have the trope of the cute redhead and the cute dark haired boy, which we always love.
Yes, as you can see, for those of you who are BL fans, this is Sasaki and Miyano, with again the orange-haired, dark-haired character. But in this one, like if you are a fan of Sasaki and Miyano, that you'll kind of understand this reference. Is I feel like the personalities of our main characters in this were a little swapped. So it was the dark-haired one who was the excited to be around the other more often, who was more sure of his feelings. And that's how Sasaki is. Whereas Miyano was like, wait, I don't know. And then we had that like a little bit with the redhead in this. But I think, should I like read the back so that way, people kind of know what they're getting into and then we can give our thoughts and squee.
Yes, that sounds like an excellent idea.
Yeah, so it says, I will preface this, it does say mature 18 plus, but it's the bonus at the end that's 18 plus. So if you want a wholesome story, this is extremely wholesome. Just stop at the where it says the end, because the author does give us a couple of like bonus chapters which are still very sweet, but that's where the 18 plus mature content lies. um And so
Right,
it says,
there's just one
yep.
short that's, like,
Mhm.
what, like, 5 pages long, and it's the spicy material, so, yeah, just read the actual story and don't go past the end if you're not into that or don't wanna read that.
Yeah, exactly. And it says, there's a phrase I often hear when I get dumped. It's something like, there must be someone else you like. Ryota Natsukawa is set to move out of his family's home and live alone for the first time to begin university. However, he unwillingly finds himself rooming with his dazzling childhood friend, Kazuhito Tanaka. Despite his old friend's charming good looks, it turns out that Kazuhito is single.
Gasp.
Ryota wants to know why that is, so he tries to figure out what Kazuhito lacks from the perspective of the opposite sex. Things become a bit clearer when the pair go on a practice date, and slowly their feelings rise to the surface.
And what's
And
funny, I Oh,
oh, go ahead.
sorry.
No, no, no. You go ahead.
I was gonna say what's funny is I just noticed now that I'm looking at the back, that there's one sentence at the very end that says, "The bonus chapters after the main story contain kissing and more." Yeah.
It's very cute with a little heart. It's so cute.
It's so freaking cute, and something something that I wanted to say before we, like, really jump in, I know Maddie and I were like, "Let's pick something that neither of us have read, and we'll go in and read it," and I was like, "Oh, I have this. I bought this when I was actually in California the last time." I saw it, it was a one shot. I'm like, "This is gonna be great. It's easy." And I actually I read it, and I forgot that I read it.
Jenna!
I forgot. I must have, like, binged it when I got it, or maybe I read it on the plane when I don't like flying, and I don't remember exactly how I forgot that I read it, but I'm, like, reading it, and I'm like, "Oh, this is so cute," and then I get, like, 2 chapters in, and I'm like, "This sounds familiar. Maybe I read another manga that kinda has this trope," because it's not an unfamiliar trope, you know? And then I got a little further and I'm like, "No, I read."
Oh my gosh.
But that's on me because I'm pretty sure I read it when I was traveling, and I'm not a good flyer, so that's probably what happened.
That's so funny. Yeah, it's not like you said, it's not like an unfamiliar trope, the fake dating, you know. It's not really even fake dating. I feel like it's more like childhood friends to lovers is what it is. It's like we were friends growing up, fell out of touch, now we're back in touch and we fall for each other kind of a thing. But he does, say, "There's gotta be something wrong with you. Like, why are you so popular?" Like, clearly, um, you know, there's like, redhead guy right here. He wants to know what's wrong with this guy, right? He's like, "There must be a reason you're getting dumped because you're too perfect, but there's a reason there's a reason you're getting dumped, right?" And then they go out and he's like, "I don't understand why people are dumping you. You are amazing."
Yeah, he's, like, literally he is a perfect man. He has nothing wrong with him. He's, intelligent and kind and considerate, and also, like, it is called Living with Him because it starts out where they are, roommates, but it's because their moms, like, paired them up. Their moms were like, "Oh, you need an apartment and you need an apartment. Let's put them together," and kinda, like, not played matchmaker, but they kind of set up, like, the rental and put the boys together, and, they weren't unfamiliar with each other. Like Maddie said, they knew each other as children and kind of fell out of touch in high school. So that's why they're living together because their moms were their moms set it up, which is super cute.
It is very sweet, and I don't want us to, like, touch into too many, like, spoilers because we want you guys to go out and pick this up and read it. I really hope that she writes more, like, I really hope that there's a sequel, because it ended like a one shot. Like, you can just kind of use your imagination and be like, "Okay, I could kind of see where this could go," but also, like, I want more of them. I want more of them. Like, I thought this story was so sweet. The art is adorable. You know, the I don't, we'll never get enough of the classic like misunderstanding issues. But what's nice is like it didn't last a long time. Like there's a little bit of angst, I guess you could say, where there's like a little misunderstanding between the two of them a couple of times, but that is kind of part of life.
Right.
But you know, I feel like in most of these types of stories, there's that friend who like flicks them on the forehead and is like, "You're a moron," like that kind of like helps them talk things out, which I really enjoy. I don't like it when things go unsolved for a long period of time, and especially with it being, well, especially with it being a one shot, like it. If there isn't going to be a sequel, they kind of had to wrap up the misunderstandings, miscommunications kind of quickly, but it works out for those of us who want them to kiss already. Like
Yeah, it's basically the entire plot, like, it starts out not fake dating, but like had Maddie had said, but the dark-haired one, basically puts the ball in the redhead's court and says, "Hey, I really like you. I have these feelings for you. Take as long as you want to figure out how you feel." So the rest of the story is the redhead being like, "Do I like him?" And like just going through that journey of figuring out what his feelings are. And it obviously culminates in, I don't want to give much away, but that's kind of the whole plot is he's trying to navigate his feelings and what that could mean for them. Um, Overall, I loved it. I thought it is cute. It's like so pure. There's really not angst. Like that angst that's in there is just like Maddie said, normal life stuff that's not like really heavy. So it's something that if you're just looking for a nice, fun, and quick read, because it is a one shot, I highly recommend it. I recommend it regardless. I think everybody should read it personally.
yeah, 100%. It's so sweet. It's so good. There was a lot of squealing involved when I was reading it. It was, very sweet. The characters are very respectful of each other. They have a solid foundation as friends. And so I highly recommend it as well. I think it's very, very sweet. And again, wholesome, just kind of stop. There is a point in here where it does say like the end. But that's like, but then it gives you like the bonus stuff. I'm trying to find it. Do.
Right.
I don't.
And another
Okay,
thing
so yeah,
is
it has a
that
big. I won't. Sorry, but it has a big black spot here. That signifies the end of the story. Which is kind of nice because then it feels like you're given a little mini like insert for some more stories. Um, so you're
right, and then the
good.
bonus chapters are after that black page, so that's
Mhm.
where, stop if you don't wanna go past there. But, another thing that I wanted to say about it was that there's, no toxicity. There's no bad tropes in it.
None.
There's none at all. Nothing at all. Like, I know sometimes, BL is criticized for, some tropes that aren't necessarily the most healthy, tropes, and this is not at all. There's nothing at all that's, like, negative about it. Everything is very, very pure, which, yet again reminds me of Sasuke and Miyano, because Sasuke and Miyano is just, like, the most pure. Should we move on to our recommendation of Sasuke and Miyano?
I was literally gonna say this feels like a really excellent segue into our recommendations. I know personally when I recommend BL to people, I prefer stories like this. I like the more wholesome. I don't mind there being, a breakup arc or misunderstandings or something dramatic. But I tend to err on the like lighter side of these stories. So like Living with Him, Sasaki and Miyano, so my recommendations are going to be sweet stories for you.
I will say that Sasuke and Miyano is probably one of my favorite anime. Definitely Sasuke is probably my favorite anime character. I love him so much. And for those of you who aren't familiar, Sasuke is here and Miyano is here. Um, I just I cannot recommend this one enough. It's my favorite. They are completely pure, completely sweet. Again, it's a situation where Sasuke is like Miyano for a while, and he's he's just so cute because Sasuke is just constantly going through it. He's just constantly living in a state of gay panic. And he's
Yes.
just like, "You poor baby," and he's so Sasuke is a walking green flag. Like, and you don't see that often in a lot of things. He's just the greenest of green flags, right?
Yes. Oh, 100%. He is so sweet and so wonderful. Wearing them on my shirt. I love them so much.
He has never done anything wrong in his life ever.
Ever. And it was very, that's what like living with him reminded me of too was Sasaki. This is not really a spoiler because Sasaki Mino's been around for a while now. But if you haven't read it, this doesn't really ruin much. But Sasaki is the one who confesses first, and it happens kind of quick in the story. But he's very sure of his feelings, but he doesn't pressure Miyano in any way, and they still remain like friendly and friends, and they still hang out and they do stuff together, and it's not like this big like, well, what's your answer? What's your answer? Do you like me? Do you like me? He like doesn't like bring it up until Miyano's ready. Um and it's very sweet.
And I
And
like that they stay friends, like you said. Like, there's no awkward moments. Like, they go from the confession on Sasuke's side to just, Mino being like, "Okay, I'm gonna think on it," and then next day back to, like, being what they were before.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And it's, whether that's realistic for people or not, like I feel like it gives you that validation of like you can confess to someone or be confessed to and like still be their friend. You just have to be willing to do so. Um and so it's a really great story, and the manga is still going. I think 9 volumes are printed right now, so it's kind of a long one. I mean, the volumes themselves aren't really long. But for some people looking at a 9 volume series and counting can be a little intimidating. I get it. But
You'll
it's worth
blow
it.
through it.
And
You'll
oh yeah,
blow through
yeah,
it.
you will. When the anime ended, like when the last episode aired, I immediately read the manga. I was like, I can't wait anymore. I need these precious beans.
Oh
Um,
my god. So
it's
precious.
it's very sweet. It's very
Look at them.
sweet.
I just opened it and to this picture. Look at how cute they are.
That's
Ugh.
so stinking cute. Oh my gosh.
And the anime, like, I know we're not really gonna get into anime in this one. We might do a separate video, but the anime, it just makes it so much better than you can even imagine because the voice actors are just so cute. They make these adorable characters that you love so much even more lovable if that's possible. So, and also there's a lot of cats. So I do like
Yes.
I'm a fan of the cats.
Yes, the cats are fantastic. Um so my one of my recommendations is not an anime. I don't know. I thought there might be a live action, but I'm probably wrong. I don't watch live action stuff. I just either read it or watch the anime. But it's called I Hear the Sunspot.
Hey, I
Um
have that here too.
I love this series. I am behind a little. I am a little bit behind, but this is another one that is very sweet. Another wholesome story. I haven't seen like any, 18 plus ratings on the ones that I get. What's nice with BL stories too is on most of them, it will have an age on it. So, like, I'm looking at another one right now that I'll talk about in a little bit. It says, OT, older teen, ages 18 and up. This one has Living with Him has the mature rating. I don't know if Sasaki and Mino has a rating, but
I
usually
don't
if
think
usually if
it's
it
anything.
doesn't, then you're in the clear. Like you don't have to worry
Teen.
about. It says teen, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's because they're also in high school. I hear the Sunspot takes place when they are in college, so it's another like university story. One of them is hard of hearing; he's not completely deaf, and he meets the other. Forgive me, it's been a while since I've read this, but all I know is that I loved it so much um, because it's one of those where like the one who's hard of hearing feels like he's the outcast, like he doesn't feel like he fits in or anything. And then the friend comes in and he like is like, but I want to be your friend. Like, I don't care that you let's be friends. Um, so it says, let's see, I'll read the back for you guys so you guys don't have to read the backs of them. It says, because of a hearing disability, Kohai is often misunderstood by others and has trouble integrating into life on campus, so he learns to keep his distance. That is until he meets the outspoken and cheerful Taichi. He tells Kohai that his hearing loss is not his fault. Taichi's words cut through Kohai's usual defense mechanisms like a knife and opens his heart. More than friends, less than lovers, their relationship changes Kohai forever. And it's very sweet. It's, blonde hair, dark hair. I love the like opposite tropes with a lot of these stories. Their hair color, like one of them is, has the lighter hair, one of them has a darker hair. It's very sweet. The dark haired one ends up like helping Kohai with like notes at school because he can't really hear the professors even like with his hearing aid. So he like helps him take notes and they get to know each other and it's very sweet. Um, lots of gay panic on Taichi's side and it's super wholesome and very sweet.
Something funny, my manga has a different synopsis on the back.
Which volume are you looking at? Because they're different. Because
1.
this is the first one.
Yeah, me too, 1.
Interesting.
Isn't that weird?
That is very
I
strange.
actually I have this as, I have the book, but I actually haven't read it. So this was gonna be my honorable mention because I have, like, 2 or 3 that I haven't read yet, but, yeah, so I can't necessarily attest to it, but Maddie talked, about it to me and said how good it was, and that's why I bought it. I just have not got around to reading it yet.
Yeah. The only thing that's odd about I Hear the Sunspot is the way the volumes are numbered. So I don't have the order in front of me, but you have to just check like, you can Google I Hear the Sunspot reading order. Um, because it kind of confused me too, because there's like volume one, and then there's volume two, and then there's limit one, and there's limit two, and then there's another set because they kind of like take place in different times of their lives. Not to say that's like it's not it's not a time skip or anything. But it's just kind of like shifts where they are in school and work and stuff like that. So
Yeah, I have to read that. I've been meaning to. I think I've had it for months in my library, but, I will move on to my next one, and it's a little different because it is about a girl, and it is called My Lesbian Experience with Loneliness. Here it is. And it's pink, which we love, it stands out. This is like I know it is a manga, but it also is for some reason, labeled as a graphic novel, and this isn't necessarily like I wouldn't necessarily say this is it's not a dating story, like, all the other ones are dating stories and, like, falling in love and all those things. This is the writer's, memoir, basically. It's her story, and it's in manga form, and I think this was also her first manga, so you get that in the story as well. She's talking about how like, this self inward journey and how she also always wanted to be a writer and she's also trying to figure out who she is. Um it's really good and it's very I think important to people who are a little unsure of where they fall in life. So I'll read the back. It says, My lesbian experience with loneliness is a raw and heartfelt account of one young woman's struggle with her sexuality, mental well being, and feelings of alienation in our modern age. Told using expressive artwork that invokes both language and tears, this intensely personal and insightful work was previously released in a single volume paperback edition that garnered critical acclaim from across the globe, won several awards, and topped the best of lists in multiple categories. So, the mental health is a very, very big part of this as well. And I will say, if you are a little sensitive about certain things like that, or you don't really want to be triggered by eating disorders or really intense depression, I would say maybe skip this. But I also think she does an amazing job showing what that's like while also navigating her sexuality.
yeah, it's that is one that I haven't read, but I watched you purchase it. I was there when you bought it. Um, And it definitely, yeah, it sounds like something very heavy, but it's like sounds very important. Like it's a very important story to be told for sure.
Yes, it is. It is heavy. I will say, it's heavy, and if you're not looking for something like that, this is not the book for you. But it is very important. It also won the Harvey Award for best manga, so that's cool. But I definitely suggest this as long as you are in the right space to read it.
And that's fair. That's a fair warning
Yeah.
for sure. This is my final recommendation for this video. And I only say final because I also like have given, and I have Sasaki and Miyano, but I want to give other stuff that's not like super popular a chance to shine, you know? So this is called My Summer of You. Um, there are two volumes, and they both, it's funny because they both say My Summer of You. So you have to be mindful. This is My Summer of You. And then in really small letters, it says volume one, The Summer of You. And then My Summer of You, volume two, says The Summer with You. So there's a minor difference. But it's two different covers. So, whoops. So like they, look different. Um, and they're a little bit on the thicker side. This one is really good. This is older teen, 18 plus. But I don't remember there being anything really mature about it until the second volume. So I don't, again, forgive me, it's been a while since I've read it, but I did really love this story. It's about two boys who enjoy movies, and they meet each other, and become like really fast friends. Like they hit it off real fast. They love movies. They talk about movies. They go see movies, and they have a grand old time all summer. Thinking about each other and like questioning, like, why am I thinking this way about a boy? Of course, right? The classic, like, oh my gosh, I'm thinking about him so much, right? It never gets old. Never gets old. Um, but then one day, one of the, I think it's the light haired character. I'm so bad with names. Just like stops showing up, like he just isn't at school. He's not around. And so, the other kid's like, what the heck? Like, I thought we were having a great time. Like, what's the big deal? And then there's like a reconciliation, and you find out like the reason behind why he like was trying to push him away. And so it does have like some sad moments, some like very serious, moments. It's very sweet. I know I've said that about all of them, how they're all very sweet. But like I said in the beginning, those are my recommendations. That's like my type of story. But I really love these. I would love for My Summer Review to end up with an anime, because it's such a good story. Um, it says a wistful romance blossoms between two boys finding themselves and each other through a shared love of films in this moving drama. Um, and I don't think there are plans for a third volume, but again, when I find something I really love and it ends, I'm like, hey,
Maybe
I
there'll
could
be more.
I could read more of this if you wrote it. I would eat it up. But yeah, My Summer Review is by Nagisa Furuya. If I'm so sorry about the pronunciation, but I like this one a lot.
Oh, I probably should have given the author on this one as well. It is Nagata Kabi, Kabi. So I should have said that when I did the review. And I should have given the rating too. It is older teen, 16 plus. I personally would say it's probably mature.
That makes sense.
My
Um,
I was gonna recommend I was gonna recommend Jujutsu Kaisen as a BL.
Yikes.
It's a story about Gojo and Gato. Gege really, really I saw this post, and I'm sure you've seen it too, and it's like, Gege wrote the most heart-wrenching BL and then tried to disguise it as an action
It's
series.
so tragic. And this is why we read the sweet, happy stories. At least
Like
this is why I read. Oh. whoops. This is why I read the sweet, happy stories, because we have to live with A, the world just in general, right? And B, the other anime and manga that we're into hurts. So, in time for Pride Month, read happy BL stories, or, you know, if you need a break from the cute, read the lesbian story that rips your heart out, and then go back to the sweet, happy stories.
Or be sad and read Given.
That
I have
too.
all the angst ones. I'm like, here's Given. It's really sad. Here's this one. It's really sad. But also my number one is Sasuke and Miyano. So my tastes are very varied.
I mean, I love a good drama, a good heart-wrenching story once in a while. Don't get me wrong, but I think there's nothing wrong with drowning yourself in cute, tooth-rotting sweetness, because, you know, things suck sometimes. So read the
Yes.
happy stories.
I honestly would say, well, my favorite, like I said, is Sasuke and Miyano. I love it so much, but living with him, although they look like each other, look at them.
Mhm. Mhm.
Those are the 2 I would say go for if you want, lots of fluff, and I will never stop recommending that you also watch Sasuke and Miyano. Like, we need to do a whole thing on that because I have a lot to say.
We really could. We could do a whole series on Sasuke Mino, and maybe we will.
Maybe we should. I mean, like, there's a whole episode where Sasuke just can't function anymore because he's so gay that he has to go home, and,
He
like,
goes
that
home.
alone
Yeah.
yeah, he goes home gay.
He goes home gay. Not sick. He goes home gay.
He's like, Mom, I need to come home, I'm gay."
Pick me up. Big sis, come pick me up.
Oh my god, we will definitely need to do something specific about that because we could go on and on.
We will, yes. But in the meantime, if you have any manga recommendations for, Pride Month, or I say for Pride Month, but like and beyond, because obviously we can read queer stories all the time,
No, we
but
can't, it's only in June. We only
only in
exist in
June.
June. Yeah, queer people, we only exist in June, actually.
And then they vanish. Yes. So yeah, leave your recommendations, so that way we can read some more. We would like to be more well versed in these things as well. Um, so drop your recommendations. Be sure to like and subscribe, and follow along for more mayhem.
Absolutely, and enjoy your Pride Month.
Yes, and let us know if you guys read these stories. Let us know. We want to know.
Yes, tag us if you read them. Tag us on Instagram, TikTok. You can write in our comments, and we would love to know what you think.
Yes, please.